Webnames.ca started on the campus of the University of British Columbia. That's why we're here today at the Rose Garden, because I think during the time when we first started, there was no time to stop and smell the roses. It was my business partner, John Demko, that founded .ca in Canada back in 1987. So this is before the time of the commercialization of the internet, but he had the forethought of preserving a Canadian online identity for all of us. We became the top registrar very quickly, and we grew from 4 to about 30 people in a matter of 4 months.
I started 1-800-GOT-JUNK back in 1989. I knew I wanted to go to university, and I talked my way in, had to find the money. And what I did was I was in a McDonald's drive-thru of all places when I saw this beat-up old pickup truck with plywood side panels built up on the box, filled with junk, and I thought, why don't I go buy a pickup truck of my own? I spent $700, bought a pickup, the next day started hauling junk.
I'd sold West Beach, my surf skate snowboard company, and I had about $800,000, which is a lot of money to start the second business. But by the time I went through buying fabric and getting my store on 4th and Arbutus, I didn't have enough money for insurance, and so I would take my boys camping, and we'd camp in the store on Friday and Saturday nights because those are the only 2 nights a person ever got broken into.
The first year we did $17,000 in revenue with very little in profit. Currently we've got about 2,500 employees around Canada, the United States and Australia, about 1,000 trucks, 173 franchise partners, and we're loving life. Things are growing. We're hitting record level in revenues this year, $126 million for 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
As a child, there were certain instances that had me believe that I was big and dumb. So I was always thinking about, well, what could I do myself so that I wouldn't have to be put in a situation where people thought I was big and dumb. My dad was a phys ed teacher, my mom was a sewer, and I learned those 2 things very well, put the 2 of them together, and that's how I got into the surf business and the skateboard, snowboard, and then yoga.
When I was 4.5 years old, I guess I drew a picture of myself, a self-portrait of me cleaning up trash. When my grandmother passed away and she'd kept a portfolio of all my drawings as a kid, that was one that I found and remembered, and so we've put it up on the wall here at the Junction as a way to kind of go, hey, the vision started in 1974 and look what it's grown into today. We're in the business of making the ordinary business of junk removal exceptional, and as an entrepreneur, it's a big charge that I get out of seeing us make change in an industry.
True entrepreneurship is doing something really well. Whatever we're doing, as mundane as it could be, domain names or hosting or email, we can make it about service. We can make it about a story.
Being creative. I get to think about an idea and then actually make it happen.
The mistake that we made, and I think many entrepreneurs make early on, is that you end up giving away some equity for something in return, whether it's for money or whether it's for marketing assistance, which is what we did. That probably wasn't the best move for us.
My worst business mistake was creating a very simple contract with somebody that wanted to do e-commerce for me. And I didn't want to do e-commerce at the time for various reasons, but one thing led to another. Lululemon exploded, and the value of that contract was way more than what it was intended to be, but of course it ended up going to court and costing me millions of dollars to get out of it.
My biggest business mistake I've ever made, and I've made it several times, there's a bit of a pattern, but you learn and you try and avoid these mistakes, is when I brought on the wrong people. If you bring someone on that doesn't believe in your vision, doesn't believe in you as an entrepreneur, and you really don't mesh and gel, that's a challenge. Wrong people, you get them out, you start fresh, you take your learnings.
My best business success would be Lululemon out of maybe the 4 or 5 businesses that I've had. But it's also, I declare that as being, before that time, as my 20-year MBA at learning business in order to make Lululemon happen.
My best business success, I think, is coming up with a vision, having a clear painted picture of what the future of 1-800-GOT-JUNK looks like. In 1997, I was sitting at my parents' summer cottage out on their dock, and I thought, what could the possibility of 1-800-GOT-JUNK look like? We were only in one city at the time, but I said, imagine if we were in 30 metros, 30 cities bigger than Vancouver where we got our start, dreamed up a possibility, and 5 years later, we made it happen.
All of it is a learning experience. I would do exactly the same thing.
Looking back over the last 24 years, is there one thing I would do differently? No, because that's where the learning comes from.
Absolutely nothing.
I've broken a lot of bones in my life. I've got metal all over the place, so I would say the bionic woman, because literally I am the bionic woman already. I've got a metal plate, 13 screws in my body, from a variety of things that I used to do.
If I had to be a superhero, it sounds kind of old school, and I thought a lot about it, but it would probably be Superman. And the reason is he's the only superhero I could really find that didn't have some issue when he was a child that he was rebelling against or making right. He just seemed to be, ejected as an orphan into Earth and, kind of a down-to-earth, unassuming type guy that does good.
I would make up my own. I'm an entrepreneur. I dream up big things. I would be Captain Cleanup. We'd clean up America. I'd be wearing a big cape, flying across the world and recycling anything and everything possible.
Hello there, Captain Cleanup here.
I want my legacy to be that we've created together something much bigger than any one of us could have ever created alone. And that not just I'm seen, but our brands are seen as long-term sustainable companies, 1-800-GOT-JUNK, Wow One Day Painting, You Move Me, that we've created 3 and maybe one day more companies that have changed the way people look at customer service.
On my tombstone, all used up, nothing left.
I'd want my legacy to be basically web names, that we are a great Canadian brand that everybody is proud of, and we are known for our amazing customer service.
Number one piece of advice I would give, it's all about people. You can never, ever, ever compromise on the people you bring into your organization.
My advice to all entrepreneurs is when you're early on and you're starting out, really make sure that you need that help or you need that financing before you give away any equity. It becomes very expensive later on when your company is valued into the millions.
Not be afraid to make mistakes and make lots of them.
You've got to make those mistakes and you've got to learn from them. That's what makes you an entrepreneur.
It's really important to have a network of people that you can talk to at your level. It could be the Chamber of Commerce. It's having a network of people that you trust, you can talk to about the challenges that you're going through within your business, and it's really important to make sure you have that outlet. Otherwise, you don't learn from others and you can't learn to grow your company in a way that's most effective.